show, but another show called Joe Rogan's Experience. What is it even called?
The Joe Rogan Experience. Yeah.
Is it really?
And
that was a good guess.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he stole it from what's it? Jimi Hendrix.
But, he did, bastard.
Well, he admittedly, so that's good. No, we'll talk about that a little bit. I'd like for you to listen to that when you get a chance, because it is worth the listen. And all I'm saying is, if what they said on this show, and I have no reason to believe otherwise, because it was a very well done, like very rational, reasonable, thought out, very well explained ordeal, sounded pretty legit. And if it was, like, our public health officials have some major explaining to do. If not, criminal charges need to be filed, because it's, to quote the great Ricky from Trailer Park Boys.
No, Ricky Ricardo from I Love Lucy. You got some explaining to do.
Well, I'm over here, and I have a kind of a fondness for our fella Bubbles, because I also have the Coke bottle glasses, but
fucking greasy, Ricky.
Greasy as fuck. Something's fucky. That's so fucky. That's the extent of what I can tell you from that, without you diving into it yourself. It is because the whole thing about, like, the vaccine is its emergency use authorization, which they cannot authorize that without, or if there's a viable treatment to be had. And it sounds like maybe, just maybe, this was a viable treatment. And not only that, an extremely cheap and effective viable treatment is what it sounds like, that has decades of research and data to back up any long-term health risks associated with it. And
in your old age, you're getting fancy. I mean, I am using fancy phrases like "to be had,"
to be had, forthwith,
and is tradition,
and as is tradition.
Wow, I've
been studying.
You've been taking your Glencoe boba, Glencoe, whatever
it's getting something, Ginkgoba biloba or some shit like that.
Yeah, you've been taking them.
Yeah, wow. I've been taking them rectally mostly.
Wow. Well, where else?
I mean, fastest absorption rate.
That's
there we
right.
go. Another big word for you. That's a $5 word.
You know what? The first time I ever felt like an old crusty was, I think, probably
in your shorts.
Well, that's every day. I mean, that's why they referred to me as Skid Mark Steve. But the first time I truly felt like an old fuck was right after college. And I saw some news report about how teenagers were soaking their tampons in alcohol and putting it up their ass. And I was like, well, who the fuck would do that? Yeah. Like, all the cool kids are sticking stuff up their butt.
You are not
immediately.
Cool. You're not cool until you stuff Everclear soaked tampon up your butt. I mean, you're just not cool until that happens.
Back in my day, if you wanted to be a real badass, you'd order 3 wise men and not throw it up.
Well, I mean, unless you're Rob.
Rob would throw up water.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, yes.
He had a rough go with his 21st.
He did. Poor fuck. Maybe we should
He-
get better friends.
I know, but he kept coming back for it. So
He
you have to respect it to some extent. But yeah, it's also at some point, Rob, you just gotta let it go. Let it
And
go.
every time we'd be like, Rob, where'd you go? Did you go to the bathroom? No, I was just walking around.
Yeah. Hey, did you have a festive Juneteenth?
I did actually. We got off at noon, which was really nice of our leader. So that was nice, and then we'll get off next year. You know what? Honestly, great. Make it a holiday. That's fine. You know, that's whatever.
This is the
that's
most
great.
democratic thing ever. This is akin to the kneeling while wearing Kunta Kinte gear. It's
how so?
Well, it's just another meaningless platitude.
And
designed to keep the Black community under their thumb. Will anything come of the Juneteenth? No, it'll cost us taxpayers a bunch more money because it's now a federal holiday. So we'll have all those federal employees that we have to pay their salaries for that day, which I'm fine with. I'm really okay with the holiday. I don't give a shit. It's just another case of just outright pandering and not doing anything to help the Black community. So congratulations, Democrats.
If you were living
right on through.
If you were living here, I would say, well, Matt, when you think that way, just think, I'm paying Aaron's salary. Then he'll feel better. At least you know it'll be put to good use with your good old buddy.
If I'm paying your salary on Juneteenth, I'll get in trouble if yeah. Anyway, I it's kind of a cool holiday. I mean, it really is when you go back to the history of it. It's pretty cool. Or like a cool historical landmark or pinpoint in time, and it coincides pretty well with Independence Day. So I'm fine with it. It's just it's a typical Democrat move.
You're muffed at the reasons behind it on the legislature, not the actual holiday.
Because they jammed it through at warp speed. Half the country has no idea what Juneteenth is, and just all of a sudden, just like bam, national holiday. You're welcome, Black guys. Are we cool? We cool, bro? Are we cool?
And then do nothing in the meantime to help out what's going on.
Yeah, let's not look at the drug laws that have wrecked the Black community. Let's not look at the systemic poverty that goes on in the inner cities. And let's not focus on any of that. But we're gonna kneel in Kente gear, and we're gonna give you a holiday. Solved racism. But hey, today, on a brighter note, speaking of Black folks, our vice president made it to the border. She went back over the border and then went down to the border this time. She is to the border.
She wasn't actually at the border.
I know. Well, but it's close. You can't expect the vice president to be safe at the actual border. I mean, she's the vice president, But hey, she beat Trump there by a week, so there's that.
I know. What a what a move by Trump. You've never had a former president with a policy decision do something like that. When we except for John Kerry, John Kerry would go meet with diplomats when he wasn't there. Okay, so the second time somebody like that has done something.
Side tangent on Kerry.
Yes,
my favorite John Kerry moment is when what was that comedy satire magazine that got bombed over in Charlie Hebdo? When they got suicide bombed a couple of years ago. Or they get bombed or they get shot up. Either way, it was a terrorist attack.
Was it with the cartoon portraying Muhammad?
Mm-hmm.
It was in Oslo. It was a cartoon.
Yeah,
I think it was on Oslo. I don't know. Sorry Sorry, YouTube gods. I don't know. I think it was Oslo, but I don't know.
This one in particular was Charlie Hebdo, which is like kind of an inflammatory magazine in France, I guess. Kind of, you know, it'd be like I don't know. I'm gonna say InfoWars. I don't know what their politics are, but I'm just like kind of like provocative, like InfoWars, you know. And I think they got shot up by a couple like Syrian terrorists or something. And you know, and so that's like when everybody was like, you know, remember France, whatever, and they had like the French flag as their, you know, profile picture and shit. And our big message of hope and hey, we got your back, fella, from the United States. We sent good old John Kerry and I want to say it was like Randy Newman or somebody, whoever is. You've got a friend in me.
That's Randy Newman.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And I just remember watching that, like Randy Newman singing "You've Got a Friend in Me" to like what Macron or whatever the French president's name is, and John Kerry's just like, you like that one? How about that?
Basically saying like, oh, look at the singer we brought.
Yeah. Wow. Everything's we solved terrorism, France. You got a friend in us.
I don't think I've ever seen that, but I kind of want to look it up now.
You'll have to. That's a like a deep pull. That was back when I was watching a lot of Fox News.
It's a deep track, huh?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, that was back when Obama was president. So I guess that would have been his second term because Kerry was Secretary of State the second term, right? Yeah, because Hilldog was the first term. Hilldog.
Hilldog, if you're listening, we hope all is well. Please do not come after us.
Yeah. Like you did. No. Like you totally did not.
No.
Suicide John McAfee in prison.
What was that guy in for?
It was something with Bitcoin. Who knows? Like McAfee, he's one of those guys I really wanted to like because he's just so crazy and out there. And some of the stuff that he made some really good points. He's a lot like Alex Jones. If you take out all the theatrics and then like the crazy bullshit that he ends with, like the rest of the information leading up to the crazy bullshit is like pretty spot on. And you're like, maybe this guy's not so crazy after all. And then he'll, and then, you know, they're turning the frogs gay, which actually turned out to be somewhat kind of true. Wasn't so much gay, but it made him like, change sex almost.
Frogs do that sometimes too, though.
But this was like directly related to Roundup, I think.
Haven't you ever seen Jurassic Park? They can change their sex.
I have, but Jurassic
Not
Park
the one you slept in.
No, I didn't see much of that one. Did not see a lot of that guy.
You know, I talked about the first time I felt old. The first time I realized you were old was when you fell asleep in the new Jurassic Park movie.
Yeah, that was a pretty good indicator of being old.
It just fucking sawing. Sure. You were so loud that people started laughing in the movie theater.
That's funny. That's awesome. All right, so there's this article that I wanted to go over. But before we get into it, and I didn't send it to you, I wanted you to come in it with a fresh mindset and just so you can give me just an honest take, and then we're going to dive into the meat of this article. So, what do you know of the Proud Boys?
Not much. Not much.
Okay. I assume
is this going to be a Proud Boy promotion here, Matt?
No, because I'm not real familiar with them, but I assumed I knew a little bit more about them than you did.
I know enough to that they're not. I see them as a far right group. I don't know any of their politics. I don't think they're trying, or I don't think they're going to successfully take over the government. I don't think. I think there's a lot more problems than that are more important than them right now.
Mm.
Other than that, I don't know a ton about any of
Okay.
it. I know
But
they're
it
been
started.
allegedly connected to the January 6th riot. I don't know how much they planned, but I bet there were quite a few. I wonder if there were people in that crowd going there. So
Yeah,
that's pretty
there.
much all I know.
Yeah, so there's say you're for the most part you've got kind of the standard like
Yeah,
media, what the media take on them is, which they get some parts right, I'll say. Far right, I don't know. What do you consider to be far right anymore? Trump is considered far right. I am light years to the right of Donald Trump. Light years to the right of Donald Trump. And
you're libertarian.
yeah,
Well,
but I'm still on like the right wing side of libertarian because I
honestly, is it that hard to be right of Trump? Even though people think he's extreme, like a lot of
that's what
his
I'm saying.
policies were
So
not right at all. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. So if like he's considered like far right, then like I'm off the chart right then, and I don't feel like I am because I am pretty. I'm just liberty. I don't even like the word libertarian anymore because
me
watching
neither.
watching some of the, especially the Libertarian Party and the infighting in there, and I was like, you guys are a fucking joke, and I don't like I think the Libertarian political philosophy is sound. The Libertarian Party is garbage, hot garbage.
I would agree with that a lot, Matt. Like I was just about to say, policy wise, libertarians, I respect them because they stick to their principles, but the party, like, there's never a solution. I would totally agree with you on that.
Yeah, and so anyway, so we'll just go, and then we'll go through the article here real quick. I'll put it up on the screen.
What's the article? Who is it
USA
written by?
Today,
Okay.
who is a far left wing rag. I am done giving any of these media outlets the benefit of the doubt, just the same as I'm done giving the government the benefit of the doubt. I don't care what their intentions were, but USA Today has like increasingly got just more and more just straight up left wing propaganda. So fuck USA Today, but that's where this article came from because it popped up on my, I don't know if it was Apple News or Google News, but it was one of the like featured articles. And so Proud Boys article is, who are the Proud Boys? Far right group has concerned experts for years. Proud Boys, a far right group with a history of violent confrontations, is gaining increased national scrutiny as academics and advocates have warned. Blah 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 blah. Proud Boys publicly denies supporting white supremacy and style the group as counterbalancing force against the loosely organized anti-fascist movement known as Antifa. And they were founded in 2016 by Vice Media co-founder Gavin McInnes and described themselves at the time as politically incorrect men's club for Western chauvinists. So that's kind of their tagline, is what they're known for. I'm gonna stop sharing this. And basically they started as a group like just for men to be men, stop being bitches and be men. Like, it's not or if it's chauvinistic to open a door for a woman, then by God, you're a chauvinist, whatever. And so they took the term chauvinist and ran with it basically as a fuck you to political correctness. The same thing that Trump did with the fake news. Remember, fake news was not Trump's creation. That was the media calling him fake news. And he said, no, he flipped it on them. So no, you're fake news. So he ran, like he owned it. And that's kind of what they did. Over the years, they've grown into this big coalition of, I guess more than anything, their political movement is anti-PC. Like they're radical free speech guys. And they're also known for getting in fights with Antifa. And that's where they got the bad rap from the media. But anyhow, they're according to the Southern Poverty Law Senator, who also is a just a left-wing hack. That Southern Poverty Law Center, I could do a whole episode on those fucking jokers. Mostly because they're working for the government too, to identify domestic extremists. And they are a just awful, corrupt left-wing, like Marxist organization. And anybody to the right of Bernie Sanders is probably on their list as a domestic extremist. So they go through this article and they infiltrated some of these Proud Boys groups. And is that the
how did they infiltrate them? Just go to a meeting?
I think so, basically. Trying to find the
Matt looking like a dummy. Where's this thing he wants to show us? Please don't be a dick pic. Okay, be a dick pic.
I gotta find that link again. But anyway, I went through this entire article and I read it with an open mind. And then I went back through and I clicked on every hyperlink that they had, where they cite their sources and whatnot. And there was no substance whatsoever to this article at all. And I mean, just none. And they joined Wisconsin Proud Boys looking for brotherhood. They found racism, bullying, and anti-Semitism. And so they got this one guy, Daniel Berry. He's a 40-year-old Army vet that joined the Wisconsin Proud Boys. And then there was like 3 other people they interviewed but declined to give their name. They remain anonymous.
Wait. They interview people. So they knew they were reporters, right?
Mm-hmm.
How can you infiltrate if they know who you are?
Okay, well, I guess not. So maybe I said that wrong. Maybe I phrased that wrong. Maybe it's not infiltrate, but so like a deep dive. They took a deep investigative look into the Proud Boys, supposedly. But when you get into it, what they did is paint a picture of how they suckered these guys in with the free speech rhetoric and this and that, and they're really just a bunch of conservative rock stars and standing up for America, and they lure them in, and then they go through this hazing deal, and their hazing consists of a encrypted chat room on Telegram where they share memes and dirty jokes, sometimes racist and anti-Semitic jokes, much like a lot of the group chats that I'm involved with. Does that mean I'm a white supremacist hate group leader? No, I like dirty humor. I enjoy racial humor. It's funny.
I'll put it this way. The reason I don't respect Antifa is because they are willing to do violence to promote their cause.
Mm-hmm.
From what I've heard, the Proud Boys do the same thing with violence. So I don't like any of them. I mean,
That's fair.
I'm
just I'm doing this as a kind of a display as to what will happen when did Nancy Pelosi actually start this January 6th commission through the House, or or is that because I read some article that she did, and then I read another article that said she denied that. So I don't know.
I don't know. I thought they were going their own route with it.
Maybe so. It was like a House special investigator or something, is what I heard. I haven't heard much more on it, so I'm guessing that was false. But anyhow, this has been the topic of discussion. In the meantime, we're spending how many trillions of dollars, and we're ratcheting up, tensions with Russia and China and the Middle East. But hey, let's worry about 300 idiots stumbling around the Capitol building, and let's focus our all of the the might of the federal government on that.
Well, and even today, even more like shit news on top of shit news. So it looked like they had a deal on the infrastructure bill.
Mm-hmm.
On one press conference, Susan Collins, everybody was there. And then he did another press conference saying basically that he wanted something else in order to get the infrastructure. Like he almost added another stipulation to the agreement. I'm really confused on it. But I guess negotiations weren't good enough.
Huh. So here's a good example of how the media narrative on this group, Proud Boys leaders such as National Chairman Henry Tarrio, who goes by Enrique and self-identifies as Afro-Cuban, insist it's not a white supremacist group. They point to non-white members as evidence. I would say that's a pretty good indicator that they're not white supremacist if they have non-white members. Like that's a pretty good indicator. Unless they're what was Dave Chappelle's character, the black white supremacist? Clayton Bigsby. unless they just got a bunch of Clayton Bigsbys in the Proud Boys.
People flipped their fucking lid when that came out.
Oh, I know it.
Chappelle show. Talk about one of the best.
Oh, it's so good.
Shows all time.
Yeah. So I clicked on. There was a couple different, and they were both. I guess USA Today owns like a whole bunch of local newspapers too. So like one of the articles was from a Milwaukee newspaper, but it has like the same branding as USA Today, so it must be an affiliate paper.
Same byline, yeah, probably. Yeah.
So this one hyperlink, the Proud Boys publicly deny supporting white supremacy and style the group as a counterbalancing force against the loosely organized anti-fascist movement. And they link to this other article by USA Today. And basically it talks about how they counter protested in Portland, and they got in a fight with Antifa, and they called that a win. So it was kind of it didn't really prove their point one way or the other. And then they so I don't know, it's one of those things like what, so why link to it if it's not. So then they say the Proud Boys have become an increasingly visible part of ongoing social unrest as the group's demonstrations have frequently devolved into fights and violence. Now that's another link.
The New York Times should have said them and Antifa, because apparently they're fighting each other.
Exactly. So they link there. Click on that particular link, and it is.
You know what makes me laugh about Antifa? They're anti-fascist, but a lot of their techniques are very fascist.
Yeah. So that links to a piece out of Michigan, says police far-right group Proud Boys and counter-protesters collide in Kalamazoo. And it's just a quick little blurb. A planned rally by an alt-right group was met with counter-protesters. So they had their rally planned, and then Antifa came in and counter protested. As tensions between the two groups escalated, Kalamazoo Department of Public Safety began making arrests around 2:30 p.m. Assistant chief, blah, 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 said a few people were arrested, but didn't know exactly how many. A fight occurred. People were fighting. That's when we stepped in. And that is the end. Reports that the Proud Boys did not reserve any park space or request any permits to host an event in the city, but a permit is not necessarily needed. So, and then they go down and say Proud Boys is listed as a hate group by the Southern Poverty Law Center due to their white nationalist memes and affiliation with known extremists. But they will, other known extremists will be other groups such as the Proud Boys, who, as of yet, they've not proven any sort of extremism or other than some mild street violence between just another.
Yeah, dude. I don't know. I'm not touching this with the 10-foot pole.
No, I don't want your opinion of Proud Boys. I'm just telling you, like, because I have no allegiance to them. I think it's a stupid fucking. It's like a grown up frat. Just that they just act like a bunch of frat guys, and we didn't like frat guys when we were in college. So
no, we didn't. We still don't.
Why would I go? Yeah. Let's see. Oh, then they go back to the Trump deal where he told him to stand back and stand by, which is a weird fucking way to say it, but Trump says weird shit all the time. I don't know that.
You know, it doesn't even matter what the intent behind it was. He said it.
Yeah.
You know, like some of those crazy fucks are going to take that as, yep, Commander-in-Chief's behind us.
Yeah, and I don't know. He definitely should have phrased that better, but whatever. So then they link to a quote from somebody saying they're like, oh yeah, they got our back or something like that. She said, told USA Today that the comment led the group's organizers to feel validated. And that I forget what. Yeah. Anyway, I think that one there is something saying like, well, you never can tell unless it's like a direct quote from somebody. You can't tell anymore because half of the time they don't list their sources, or they'll say according to sources familiar with somebody's thinking. Well, what the fuck does that mean? It's not journalism.
Well, and back in the day, they like masked sources. Like they weren't the only thing in the article. Like you had to verify the source with somebody who is willing to go public. Yeah. And unless you witnessed it yourself.
Yeah, and so then like they try to smear the leader of this group, and I don't know, this guy's probably a douchebag, I don't know, but he's quite clearly some sort of ethnicity. He's not just a white guy. Clearly, you can tell by looking at him that he is either Latino or black or some combination thereof. It's pretty obvious, but they're like, oh, but they're still known as a white supremacist group. The fact that their leader is not white kind of puts a damper on that theory. Wouldn't you think?
Not touching this with the 10-foot pole, McKinley. Like,
I don't get it, but that's the type of shit that they will bring up in these, and it'll happen on both sides. Don't get me wrong. They will find all the Antifa leaders that they can on the, as far as the right wing media, and they will try to use that in whatever committee meeting or investigation commission that they try to come up with. And at the end of the day, they'll probably pass some great big domestic spying apparatus, and then we'll just be even more tracked and watched and listened to and censored.
Patriot Act 2.
And guess what? It'll pass with bipartisan support.
Then they'll have to hire more of those guys like in the South Park episode, the NSA.
Let me check asshole.
That's right. Talk to your cowboy buddy dirty. That's right. I heard you guys touch penises in episodes. I still haven't seen that yet.
Did you see all the shit that went down with the John McAfee thing? It's a little weird.
No, I didn't know. Like, I knew of McAfee. I knew he was in trouble. But
yeah, so
other than that,
I know he was living in Belize for a while. Like, he was wanted for tax evasion, which.
Oh yes. He pulled a Wesley Snipes.
Yeah, and I'm all in favor of everybody paying no taxes. If you can get away with it, I'm not gonna knock it. Somebody that finds a way to not pay taxes, like, I'm probably gonna call them and ask what can I do, because I'm good with that.
You're probably a guy that owns a lobbyist that put that into law.
Probably. Well, if you're not McAfee was $100 millionaire or something like that.
Yes, he was.
But he moved down to Belize. He was a suspect in a murder investigation for a little while. And
wow.
Yeah, apparently he was living his best life down there. But he got picked up in Spain, and then they announced that they were going to extradite him back here, and then he hung himself in his cell. But also, prior to all this, I'll send you the video, but the guy from Barstool does a good video on it.
Yeah.
But he posted on Twitter or Instagram like last year that if I end up dead in a cell from apparent suicide, just know it wasn't me. And then he tattooed whacked on his arm because he's like, just know I would never commit suicide. If I end up dead in a cell through suicide, is because I was whacked. And he got whacked tattooed on his. Yes. And then 2 hours after they announced that he was dead, his Instagram account just posted a great big letter Q.
Q?
Yeah.
Twitter?
QAnon? I don't know.
I mean, they posted because he quit on his promise, maybe?
Maybe. I don't know. And
what's the theory of like Q? Is there an explanation swirling around?
I know that I do know that the government did not like him. He really did not like the government. Supposedly he had some dirt on him. I don't know. All I'm saying is that it is awful weird, the fact that he claims that he would never commit suicide, and he thought it was a legit possibility that he would end up dead in a cell. I don't know. It's weird, man.
Who puts this shit together?
I don't know. The internet's undefeated, man. The internet is undefeated.
Literally,
so I don't know, but part of me really wishes, like, I want deep down, I want to believe that he actually did hang himself, and it's just it's a big troll.
Just fucking with people.
Yeah, I think he knew. No, I don't know. This is what I want to be true. This is what I want. I just want this to be like the ultimate long troll.
Do your Instagram followers follow you into the next life?
No, I think they shut his account down right after that.
Okay.
So I don't know.
Man.
It's all kind of weird though. It's this simulation that we're living in is fascinating as shit.
Well, and then I just think the one that always gets me is when we were in college and you would tell me like, oh, the mafia killed JFK. And my dad even said it. I was like, no, you're full of shit. That is the craziest shit. And then finding out what probably did happen
That was the
is fucking
CIA
even
and the mafia.
is even stranger than just my dad saying, "Oh yeah, the mafia killed him."
HW was probably involved too, by the way.
Oh no shit, huh? Oh yeah, because he was CIA at that time.
Well, unofficially, he was CIA since WW2, but he was just not in an official status.
Very sneaky. Very sneaky.
All of his oil companies were just conveniently happened to be in all of the main hotspots around the world when political tension was at its heights. You know, the Middle East, South America, everywhere there was oil, there was a Bush company, and there just so happened to be a little revolt or a coup or a coup d'état.
Read my lips. Coup in South America.
Yeah, it's the Bushes are shady as fuck, man. They're shady as shit.
Oh man, they're all fucking shady, man. They're all those families.
Answer me this: how is Dick Cheney a real person? Like, he is the closest thing to a Bond villain that we have in real life, I think. Maybe him or Bezos. Bezos even looks kind of like a Bond villain.
I'm convinced that Cheney is he's a cyborg. And like all the heart attacks are just like his system's short-circuiting.
Didn't you love how Liz Cheney was all of a sudden #1 American patriot, according to the Democrat Party, when she got stripped of all of her committee assignments and leaderships?
Yeah, and let's pick out all the articles where they like bash her.
Yeah.
Previous to that,
which I'm all in favor of. Fuck Liz Cheney, she's a evil person. But yeah, it's just amazing how. Well, and John McCain too. Like I remember 2012, or was that was 08? 08
brutal.
When McCain was just the biggest evil person on earth, which turns out partially true.
I don't think he was Satan. Like, you know what I mean?
Far worse than Trump on the evil meter.
I don't know if I'll agree with that one, but please continue.
That's just my thoughts. Trump didn't lie us into
deep
a
thoughts.
War. But John McCain's like campaign rally was like bomb Iran. Woo! When we already had 2 wars raging. Yeah, John McCain was a piece of shit, but yeah. Anyhow, that's neither here nor there. There was did you see the petition to not let Bezos back to Earth after he launches himself in space?
Yes.
The internet is undefeated.
Remember we were talking about it because I brought up FDR's like pennies.
Yeah.
Oh no, that was AOC. Yeah. Fucking people sign a petition about that kind of shit.
I know.
Like it boggles my mind, man. Like,
I know.
That's your fucking cause.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Like
Jeff Bezos.
The most pettiest generation. I gotta claim it right now. Just the most pettiest generation.
Yeah, I would say I'm not gonna disagree with you there. I'll have to think on that one before I, as they say in the media, give a full-throated endorsement.
Please do. I love when you give full-throated.
I'll think about it. I'll think on that first. But
I'm trying to think who else would be in the running.
Disagreeing.
Maybe like Middle Ages. You know, that was pretty vengeful.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll have to
Dark Ages.
I'll have to think on. I don't know. Some of those old kings throughout antiquity were pretty goddamn petty. Like I mean, you'd piss them off and they'd just wipe out your entire country.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
I mean,
okay, yeah,
that might be slightly more petty than today.
Slightly.
But I did enjoy the fact that It was something like 120,000 people just really didn't want Jeff Bezos to come back to Earth.
It's up to 120,000.
Yeah. It's probably more than that. That was like yesterday. I heard that it was that 120,000. It's probably over 500,000 by now, I'd imagine. When shit like that takes off, it takes off. But
fucking people. God damn. Yes, it does. Shit like that takes off. Oh my God.
What else did we miss this past week?
Well, I'll bring it up again. Man, Biden's had some bizarre press conferences.
Yeah.
Like the infrastructure, like the whispering.
Uh-huh.
Did you see that? Like it's just,
he really thinks
odd.
He's a lot better speaker than he is. Like, but he's always done that part where he thinks he's a lot more clever than he is. But yeah, now he can't even like finish a thought.
It's I don't know. Being prepared, I don't know, man. It was odd, and then the infrastructure thing just really ticked me off.
Are you? I didn't even dive into the infrastructure thing.
I mean, they had a deal, so I don't even know what's going on. I don't even think Republicans know what's going on. So they got a deal on the infrastructure. They met with Biden. They had a press conference and saying we got a deal, and then apparently he had a second press conference talking about how they wanted more or wanted something else, like after they negotiated. I think people are really fucking confused. I mean, hell, I'm confused if you say you got a deal and then,
well, in after his defense, he probably doesn't remember that first press conference. So he honestly doesn't think there is a deal because he just doesn't remember.
It's crazy. And then of course the slate has this headline: why Republicans are running from the infrastructure deal they just cut. Like, man. Oh, okay. So apparently they thought they just had an infrastructure bill, and then the Washington Post headline: GOP senators are furious over Biden pledge tying infrastructure bill to huge Democratic package. Okay, so he basically, Republicans wanted just a infrastructure bill, I think, and then he attached it to some other big bill.
So nothing has changed. That's standard procedure for Republicans and Democrats. And you know what? Credit to the Democrats. They are good at getting those big, sloppy, giant bills that nobody reads. They're very good at getting that shit passed through. The Republicans are very good at making a public outcry against it and then quietly letting it pass, or a lot of times even voting for it. Yeah, that's just it's back to politics as usual.
But the deal is far from done. As this is BBC talking about it, but the deal is far from done. As Mr. Biden said, it depended on a passage of another bigger spending bill.
Well, that's just probably not.
So
well,
they agreed on something, and then he said, "Nope, I won't. We're not going to get it done unless you pass this other big spending bill." Yeah, in what world is that okay?
Well, that's how it's been working forever.
God, man, you know what? That nothing's going to get done. No. And then reconciliation's going to come ahead, because it sounds like Republicans are pissed about this, and they're
this is why we end up with Trump, because Trump is the only one that actually even tries to get anything done, because the Republican leadership is ineffective at best.
Yeah, Trump's. You're never going to convince me on Trump, McKinley.
No, I'm not trying to convince you on Trump. I'm just saying it's shit like this that leads to Trump.
Oh yeah. Well, you said get shit done. I mean, some aspect. Right. I mean, well, you know what he did? he got red tape out of business, and then the economy boomed. I mean, how hard is that?
Well,
you know what I mean?
He was the only one to do it, so you give him credit there. And that's and I'm not a huge Trump guy, but that I'm just saying this is what leads to Trump is shit like this. It's like the 47 votes to repeal Obamacare that the Republicans held, knowing that it would die in the Senate. They knew it was never going anywhere, but hey, they wasted 4 solid years of voting to repeal Obamacare, knowing that it wasn't going to go anywhere.
Good political theater.
Over and over and over and over, they voted to repeal it, and it went nowhere in the Senate because they had no power in the Senate. And guess what happened when they did have power in the Senate? Oh, John McCain voted to keep Obamacare. The Republican leadership is ineffective at best.
Yeah.
So when you don't have any better leadership than that, you can expect another Trump or somebody of that ilk, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know.
I don't think this infrastructure bill is going to get done.
I don't think so.
Honestly.
I won't be surprised if it does, because guess what? We've found out through the years that neither party has any problem spending our money.
Which is crazy because there was like huge hope, and then it got drowned out a couple hours later.
Yeah, I remember Rand Paul briefly saying something about the debt limit or the debt and spending when he ran for president. And then Trump kind of ran.
Paul, hallowed be thy name.
Yeah. And then then Donald Trump won the nomination, and that pretty much all talk of debt and spending was just squashed for the next 4 years. I mean, did you hear anything about the debt and spending on the Republican side outside of like Thomas Massey and Rand Paul?
The only time you hear about it is in the primaries.
Or when the Democrats are in power.
Right.
Yeah, it's like, hey, all you black folks out there, I bet you heard a lot from the Democrats in 2020, and you'll probably hear a little bit from them in 2022. You'll probably hear quite a bit about them, but you'll really hear from them in 2024. But guess what? Your situation in life will not change. It will not change on that end. So, hey, American politics, huh?
Fuck, man. Fuck, it is just depressing sometimes.
It really is.
It really is.
There's on a good note though, the Colorado Supreme Court sent back that Initiative 16 to the sponsors or the publishers or whoever, the writers, I guess, of that proposed this referendum, and that was the one that would basically, like, you wouldn't be able to butcher a cow till it's 5 years old. You wouldn't be able to check them. You wouldn't be able to use artificial insemination. And so, but
why did they send it back? On what grounds?
Because it's not a single issue. Because they were wanting to change, or they wanted to add livestock to the animal cruelty laws, and also change the definition of a sexual act.
So they'll need 2 or 3 different petitions, huh?
Yeah. So we're not out of the weeds yet. So stay vigilant on that. But we got a breather for a little bit.
Man, that one is theoretically. I hope it doesn't happen. Theoretically, what would that do to the beef supply? Here.
Well, every single one of your packing plants in the state of Colorado would essentially become illegal to run, because they're unless you're running just old cows, because the only time anything that's 5 years of age on the cow side goes to the packing plant is an old bull or an old cow. You don't like you try to butcher your cattle before 30 months of age. That's ideally you want to be in like that like 18 to 24 month range. And yeah, so it would effectively shut down all the packing plants in Colorado. All the animal producers would have to ship their cattle out of state. So you would huge economic loss for the state. Your ranchers would be hamstrung by all these regulations. Like you would not be able to do just basic standard animal husbandry practices, like checking to see if your cow is pregnant. You do that rectally. That would be considered a sexual act and animal cruelty should that, had that bill or initiative passed. So
I can't believe they actually like thought about that. Like, oh, we should ban that because that's a sexual act. Like checking an organism to see if they're pregnant is a sexual act. So is all like, checkups for pregnant women a sexual act?
If you're an animal, yes.
Got it.
But yeah, so it's this wasn't just like a shot across the bow from the animal rights groups. Like this was like full frontal assault on animal agriculture. So typically these things I don't, I follow them because it affects my pocketbook, but like this one was a big one. I was like, and you just saw the wolf.
I thought this would be a Portland law.
Yeah. Then and this you just saw the wolf initiative pass in Colorado. So I did. I could see this thing getting voted into law should it make the ballot, just because people are fucking stupid. And there's a lot of Californians moving to Colorado, and they are typically pretty stupid. At least the ones that are moving anyways.
Well, they don't think through their vote. I mean, even on the issues I know on the ballot, I think through the pros and cons. Even with something like right off the bat, I'm like, yeah, that's a good idea. But you got to think the fuck through it.
Yeah.
Unintended consequences.
Yep. Yeah, but anyway, so that was good. The Supreme Court ruled that it was they didn't rule on the constitutionality of the law, the proposed law of it in and of itself. It was just it pertained to more than one issue, so that's why they sent it back. So they didn't really strike it down; they just sent it back.
Well, and I wonder how much time they got left to get on the ballot, because I mean, I don't think it would take that much time to separate them all out. I wonder when they have did you hear anything about that? How long they have before the deadline to get something on the ballot?
No, I haven't heard on that. I'll do a little research. We'll
Matt, you have to ask questions. Ask questions, Matt.
Ask the questions. We ask the hard questions.
You're a fucking libertarian. How are you not asking questions?
I want to say it's probably, well, they probably still got time to get.
Let's
back
see,
on
what is it? June 26th. It's got to be coming up though.
Yeah, like I don't know.
We did petitions. Oh, I want to say petitions started to ramp up probably like mid to late summer. So you got to get your stuff on the ballot or certified before then. And they're actually eating up time if it's not certified by now. Like you want to get it certified early so you have tons of time. And it's a state initiative, right?
Yeah. It's
so they probably have to get, and this is assumption, YouTube. This is not fact. I'm just going off of memory from 8 years ago, or 6-7 years ago. I'm guessing they have to get a certain amount of people in each county.
Yeah,
I mean they got a big road just to get it on, I think.
Oh yeah, I mean, and Well, then it has to pass, judicial review and everything
Right.
too. So I mean, but that was a who was it? There was a lawsuit that brought there's several groups that brought a lawsuit and forced this opinion. So
And the Colorado Supreme Court, like the Supreme Court, they have to agree to hear these, right? It's not just like it's on the docket, right?
No, I think when it comes to a ballot initiative, they have to review those. But maybe not. I don't know.
Well,
maybe if it's challenged, they have to. I don't.
Yep, I think that's right. That's probably right. Which
okay, so it will not appear on the 2022 ballot.
Well, then I question, like, how serious is this initiative group if they didn't have good enough lawyers to tell them something that's a single issue would get you in trouble?
Yeah,
I'm trying to ease your mind here, McKinley.
No, I know. I think you're right. I just like this was such an outrageous one, though. It was spooky because I've saw how Colorado politics has gone, and I was legitimately worried that this could actually pass.
Well, and another thing that quell your mind, if it is based off of like how many signatures you need per county, there's no way Weld County, there's no way Greeley, there's no way Adams County.
Yeah. Well, like the entire eastern half of the state, the entire western half of the state will vote against it. So
I just got a text message from Stretch, and he said, "Christ, look at the Facebook comments." Oh boy,
I've been ignoring him purposely.
What? Oh, so it's Tim just talking shit?
Yeah, he's just talking shit.
Oh, okay. Well, since Tim, you dumbass, why would you even point that out? So
it's Tim.
So Timothy, the San Diego Padres fan, the former Jets fan.
Yep.
What else?
The San Diego. What's that stupid Phil? San Diego Phil Rivers. He's a big fan of Phil Rivers.
Oh, he loves Phyllis. If he has a child, he's gonna name her Phyllis.
I really love that you made me acknowledge that I was purposely ignoring your comments on the live stream, Tim. But I'm glad that we got that out in the public.
Did he write this shit? Matt knows Aaron isn't pregnant because he checked in a way where he used his tongue. Okay, first off, that wasn't a pregnancy check.
No, that was just standard procedure.
Secondly, in order to check me, you have to have a tongue like Gene Simmons, okay? Timothy.
I'm just not that gifted in that category.
Check your facts, okay?
Check your facts. Read a fucking book.
Read a fucking book. Get fucking educated. Fucking Tim. What a cocksucker.
Well, we'll continue this Bash Tim session live on the Patreon.
And Tim's too cheap to pay for Patreon, so we can talk all the shit we want.
Yeah. Well, and maybe I'll just live stream it straight to him from my phone. So that's a lot of work though, so probably not.
Fuck you, Tim.
Fuck off, Tim.
You. You could eat. If you Burn Daylight fans, if you have a friend like Tim, don't do what we do and fucking let him latch on. You fucking clean break as soon as you know something's the fuck Seriously. Up with this guy.
Worst leech ever.
Fucking him and his pud. It's probably You know what? Tim would be the perfect NSA man. I could definitely see Tim pounding on his pud, watching us talk about politics. Just
pound your pud, Tim. We're burning daylight.
Pound the shit out of it.